today my talk would be on QA shapeshifters, which is a playbook for job environment dynamics. So, what do I actually mean by this? This is pretty much a content which I came up with based on my own experience being in software testing industry for almost like 7 years. So it's a thing. It's a content where I always had it in my mind, and also a lot of people which I have conversations with, they sort of ask me certain questions, which I eventually saw as some sort of pattern, and I thought that, hey, since a lot of people are asking about it and talking about it, why don't we just sort of address it in public so that who knows, some QAs out there who are facing similar situation, they might as well benefit from it. So yeah, so let's move on to the next part. Okay. I all right. Okay, there's some delay there. Okay, so a little bit introduction about myself. I'm a senior QA for almost 7 years. I've actually moved across about five different industries so far. I'm also a certified trainer at Think Leo, where I do training for uh, topics in software engineering for various kind of segments. And then I'm also a core member of Synapse QA, which is a online QA kind of community. So currently, I'm working for a company which is in the Web3 sort of industry. It's called Buddy Research. So yeah, so that's a little bit introduction about myself. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? So first, we're going to look at what is QA shapeshifters first, and then we're going to look at four scenarios and strategies, how to approach those scenarios, and then finally we'll go up with the conclusion, looking at few good to have or nice to have mindsets, which would help all the QAs, I believe. So I'd like to begin with a simple quote here by a famous person. Everyone knows Bruce Lee, right? So the famous quote by him is like, "Be water, my friend." So it goes something like, "Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can flow or it can crush. Be water, my friend." Well, this quote has been there for a very long time. It didn't really resonate with me back then, but as I progress slowly in my career, I believe that this is something which is very very powerful, especially for us QA, because there are a lot of rapid changes going on in the industry, software industry. So if we could just be formless and shapeless like water, we can easily flow and navigate through the situation and crush through all the issues or challenges we are facing. So yeah, be water, my friend. So the next slide. Okay, so we'll start off with what is QA shapeshifters. So QA shapeshifters is basically, by definition, is referring to someone who possesses the ability to adapt to changing job environment. Okay, so it's basically a person who's highly flexible, versatile, and capable of adjusting their approach to strategies to meet evolving need of their jobs, industry, and organization. So, in long story short, QA shapeshifters are person who's able to adapt to situation easily. So when I say that, like, what are some of the traits where QA shapeshifters have? Let's just look at a few points of it. Okay, so the first point is adaptability. So what adaptability means is basically a person who can respond to changes in the software industry easily. Okay, so we know that today, right? I mean, back then there was, for example, there was Selenium as a software automation tool, and then there was maybe Cypress, and then just now there was Playwright, and then there's ChatGPT. Who knows what's tomorrow? So as a QA, right, we are constantly being hammered by all these sort of changes in terms of technology. So a person who's highly adaptable should be able to adapt to this new technologies, I believe. Okay. The second part is versatility. So versatility, what it means is that as a QA, right? Just now there was a speaker who spoke about being a full stack tester. So a full stack tester, basically a person who does end to end. So usually, when we say QA, right, we usually go to the functional testing, the UI testing, those kind of thing. But in real life job environment, you're sort of being thrown into various sort of expectation, where you will be expected to, although your expertise might be on functional testing, you would be expected someday to just do API testing or automation testing. So you must be versatile enough to actually plug in your experience as a QA tester into different types of area or domains, right? So that's versatility, okay? And then continuous learning. So as a QA shapeshifter, right? The element of continuous learning is the most, I believe, one of the most key feature here, because as situation change, environment change, there's a lot of learning to do. Okay, so in order to remain as an effective tester and not being outdated, you need to continuously learn new things and get out of a comfort zone and search actively what are the things happening, what are the trends, and so on. Pick those up and continue updating yourself in order to be able to test effectively. Okay, and then problem solving. Yeah, I guess problem solving usually will associate maybe more towards developers, because we think that developers are solving codes and how to develop features and those kind of things. But it's also important to note that as a software tester, we also need a high amount of problem solving skill, critical thinking skills, because we are not just doing this clicking job. I believe most of us have already passed those mindset, right? We're not just clicking applications and not and so on. We are equally, just like all other engineers under software engineering, we too have our set of challenges in terms of problem solving, learning technologies, and so on. It's just equally the same, right? Probably the approach is different, but it requires the same quality as well. And then communication. I think this is one of the quality which sort of under, I would say, under mentioned or something, because as you move across different, for example, company, right, you might come across different sort of people or different sort of culture and everything. So no matter how good tester you are, no matter how experienced you are, it all boils down to one thing: how well can you communicate to that particular group of people? Because when you move to a new company, you will be meeting a different set of people from different set of culture. So when the communication does not happen, no matter how good you are, it's not really worth it. Okay, so that's one thing. And finally, resourcefulness. So this quality is very important, because uh, you it's not always a situation where we can think of when we're going to join a company where you'll be having a team of 10 people, you'll be given all the budget by the company to do your testing. That's not how it works in reality. uh, Probably you'll be the only QA, and then they don't have budget to maybe sponsor your expensive tools or toys. And all you need to do is you need to be resourceful enough to look out for all these open source tools maybe. And then you need to communicate and network with your peers, maybe within the company, outside the company, and solve your problem. So resourcefulness is also one of the key features being a QA shapeshifter. Okay, so enough with this definition thing. Let's just dive into these scenarios. Okay. Okay. So the first scenario is like, most people who come that I have a conversation with, right? They always come up and they always tell me this issue, like, oh, hey Ram, actually I'm having a bit of like a slow increment, or I'm not getting this promotion and everything. I've been in this company for almost like 10 years, and nothing is moving. I'm not sure what to do. Should I leave? Should I stay? So what should I do? They're kind of confused. But when I see you, you're like able to move. So how do I do this? Should I just follow you? Those kind of things. So my approach or strategy to this scenario is like, first you need to ask yourself first, are you contributing more value than your current salary and position? So this is a mindset which I sort of adopted from one of these, I don't know which person or which video I watched someday, where this point literally got hammered into my mind, like, we should always ask ourselves first, are we providing more value than our current salary? Okay, so because our salary, right, is basically as is a trade between the value which we provide uh, and the money which they're compensating to us. So if we, yes, it's just a basic maths. So the higher the value, higher the salary. Simple as that. So when we question ourselves, we check first. Okay, okay, right now I want to increase the value so that I can get a higher salary. So how do I approach that? So first thing is first, probably you need to hook up with your manager or something. You need to maybe set an expectation first. Saying that okay, I think I'm planning to maybe deliver an automation project for maybe within 3 months or 4 months, and then probably it'd be nice if you could, give me some a little bit of increment just to appreciate my effort and so on. Deliver that first, and then towards the end maybe do a presentation and so on. After that, you push for what you think you deserve for the value which you have contributed. So give the value first and then ask for raise. So many people out there, not I wouldn't say many people, some people out there who's facing similar situation, they be like, oh, I'm doing my 9 to 5 job, I'm doing my job very well, why should I give more? Whatever money they've given me, I'm doing my job well, that should be enough, right? Well, truth to be told, if you look on your left and your right, all your peers are also doing good. So what's the difference which would push for that particular promotion or the particular race? It's that 0.1%. So if you look at a sprint or race, right? A sprinter. So everyone practices fast and they try to run fast. So before they could actually reach the end line, by difference of 0.1 second, that actually makes a difference between winning and losing. So do not underestimate the power of 0.1%. So same thing goes to your value as well. Do not underestimate the power of delivering something extra, just a little bit outside of a 9 to 5 job. That could actually make a huge difference. Okay. So of course, it's not always as easy as a theory, right? So if of course, if things doesn't happen or after you do all that, always remember this, that your growth is your responsibility. Okay. At the end of the day, because it's not your company is not going to come and look out for you saying that, hey, you're not growing, okay, I should help you. Yeah, probably a good company, but if you that does not happen, you have to always remember, at the end of the day, your growth is your responsibility. After taking all the actions of raising and stuff like that, then probably is the best action is for you to look out for another company which values you better or provide an appropriate compensation based on your skill set. Because truth to be told, the amount of budget allocated for to hire a new person is actually higher compared to the budget allocated for a person for internal promotion. So the choice is yours. Uh, yeah. So just use it accordingly. Okay. So second scenario is joining a new company. So I also get this question like, hey, how what are the things I could be like mentally prepared when I'm looking for when I'm going to join a new company, right? So sometimes like when you join a new company, they feel like, oh, I'm sort of like missing my old company. In my previous company, I had all these good things, and in this new company, oh, this thing is quite bad. This thing. So we tend to compare, right? That's human nature, because the grass always seems greener on the other side. That's a common human kind of nature. So just because you're feeling that, usually they will start like, okay, I think I should make another jump. I think I should leave now. So should they do that? So my strategy towards that is, okay, there's two parts. Two questions here. Okay, first thing, uh, how do I get an interview first of all, right? So always remember, getting a job first of all, it's more of like a probability game, I would say. It's part of it, because sometimes no matter how good you are or how well your skill set is, it's about meeting the right company at the right time at the right place. Okay, so do not go in the mindset of having just applying 3 jobs and you fail and everything, then be like, okay, I guess things are not working out, I should give up. No, you need to have the drill down a mindset of having to attend 100 interview at least before giving up. So I initially started with that mindset of things are not working. When I see some people, they just attend another interview, they just get job instantly. So things looks quite nice, but in reality, it's not that. It's just a probability game. So probably if that person need to apply 3 times, you maybe need to do it 10 times, or maybe within one time you might just get a job. So it depends on that. So just set the bar to 100 and start doing that. Probably you might get luckier or get a chance to get a better job, so on. Okay, so second point is that once you have joined the company, right? So it's very, very natural that within the first 3 months, you will get into this hangover effect, I would call it. Okay, because like I said, it's these 3 months is the most painful, where you will be struggling to adapt to the new company's culture, the environment, the technology, a lot of things. Okay, so not all the things are good in a company. There's always a pros and cons. Okay, so within the 3 months, you need to have a lot of patience, and you need to get highly involved as possible. Try to do your level best to actually adapt, because it's not just you adapting; it's the company adapting to you as well. It's both ways. So that's why they have this probation period. So if during this probation period, it's not just the company having probation on you, you having probation on the company as well. So give it some time and see how it goes. Okay. So for me, right, let's say if I have passed the probation and I'm still unsure, like, is this company suitable for me or not? I would say give it at least 9 to 1 year time to really, really, really know whether this is suitable for you or not, whether the culture aligns to you or not. Okay. So let's say it doesn't work, then it's fine. It's very legit for you to move. But 99.9% of the time, after 9 months, trust me, you'll get very comfortable, and you will start picking up things, the pace and everything will be done, and everything will be by fingertips. And if everything is good, you'll start flying already. Okay, so don't just react just based on that particular 3 months of painful torture. Okay, and then culture and social shift. So I'll try to speed up a bit because short of time. So this is also another common issue faced, where there's usually in a company, right? There's this kind of what do you call it, merging. So merge happens quite often. So when merging happens, two things usually happens. Usually it's for the good or for the bad. Sometimes you might get promoted, sometimes you might get depromoted, or your reporting line might just change. So during this kind of uncertainty, it's very common that people feel fear, people feel scared, and the natural human nature is just to run. It's a fight. It's basically a fight or flight kind of reaction. So what should they do? So my strategy towards that is basically, first, do not just react. Okay, so when change, you need to really understand that change is not necessarily bad. It is can be good as well. So give it a time, analyze your option first. See what are the things happening. Just because you got demotivated, depromoted, doesn't mean that it could be a bad thing. Who knows, you might be getting a bigger responsibility, although your title changed. Okay, your title might change. Who knows, you might get a bigger responsibility where you can prove yourself. Within 3 to 6 months, you might get promoted again to another team, or maybe the same team. Who knows? That actually happens and happened. I've actually witnessed that in some of my colleague. But honest to tell you some honest truth, I actually made some bad decision as well. So all this is just not based on the good decision which I've made, but some of the bad decision which I think I could do better as well. Okay, so yeah, if things go strong, what can you do? So let's remember, layoff can happen, right? So it does not just mean it happened during merging. If your company is doing good, layoff can happen as well. We have all seen during this COVID period, or post COVID period as well. So always prepare some emergency cash and everything, for you to just go through that period, and always just keep moving on and finding a new job. Okay, gonna speed up again. I'm so sorry. And then the last part is, I think, a pressure to learn new things. Right. This is also a very, very common situations going on everywhere right now, with the frenzy of AI, automation, and everything. So if you talk to a manual tester, some of them will be coming and telling me like, "Hey, are you going to steal my job? Is it because you know automation?" So I'm like, "Huh? Do you even know what is automation and what is manual QA? You know?" So the term even automation, manual QA, like what exactly do you mean? Both of us are under the same umbrella, which is QA. So those kind of things. But yeah, back to this point. Um, when a QA, you're pressured to learn, for example, automation, right? You'll be like, okay, I'm being paid just to do this particular amount of learning and delivery, and now suddenly you want me to do automation. Should I do it, or should I, just say no and move on? And sometimes, right, I feel like I'm just too old to do all this. I'm not flexible enough to do this. I don't think I can do it. So how do I deal with this thing? Okay, so I want to say that, first thing, if you feel this kind of pressure, right, which it means that something good is actually happening. Just think of an example of an car engine, right? In order for the car to move in the engine, right? In the combustion chamber, there needs to be certain amount of pressure. For example, a pressure chamber, there needs to be a fuel, ignition, fire. So when things explode, it creates a pressure, and then the car moves. The piston moves and the car moves. Same thing goes to you. When there's a pressure, only then you move. All right. So not all pressure is bad. So first thing is first, pressure can be good. Okay. So that being said, the second point is, if you feel that you're not being paid enough, right, it's actually a good thing, because you know that you are at the point where you know that you're providing more value. So when you know that you're providing more value, which means you can actually earn more. So that means you're progressing. Okay, so it's good. Therefore, uh, when you are pressured to learn new things, don't take it negatively. Look at it as in the lens of you making a progress. Okay, and then you also have to realize that if you fail to learn, you will learn failure, because anyone who sees learning, that is naturally is death. We can actually see this in nature as well. Any creature or any organism that fails to evolve, they will get eliminated through natural selection. So regardless your age, your time, or your environment, or your background, or whichever point you're starting from, always learn. Do not stop. You can be a tester, you can be anyone for the matter. Just continue learning. Okay. Of course, if things get difficult, it's not easy for me just to say, hey, learn and everything. You got to get more creative, like not just going through YouTube and stuff like that. You need to reach out to people. Like the most effective way which I learn from is actually through people. I reach out to these mentors or people from the community where they actually, everyone specializes in something, so you can just learn a little bit here and there, and eventually compile it to something beautiful where it works, right? Okay, I think I'm running out of time, so I'm going to move on with the conclusion. The last part is, so I'm going to conclude this whole session with few mindsets. So again, your growth is your responsibility. You got to remember that forever. Really hold on strong to it. Okay, and then build your EQ, not just your IQ. So uh, I always realize that a lot of people praise intelligence, but there's very little people who praise emotional intelligence. Because no matter how intelligent you are, when you don't have emotional intelligence, no companies actually wants you. It's very difficult for you to become a team player. So eventually, it doesn't connect. No matter what, how valuable you are, if it doesn't reach the correct people, it doesn't work. So emotional intelligence comes first. Your intelligence will naturally follow. So that's that. And then the third point is, do whatever it takes. That's the hardest thing to do, but yeah. And just because I say whatever it takes, don't do the negative things. Always try to approach things for a constructive purpose. uh, try to do things which is positive. I can't elaborate much now on that. And then last thing, just remember that always have the mindset of being a lifelong student, because uh, universities, schools, and everything are there as just part of our stepping stones of learning. Learning, when you look at learning, right, it's actually this whole world and this whole timeline of our life. This whole thing is actually a journey of learning. You don't just learn in school. When you're born as a baby, you're automatically learning how to crawl, how to walk, how to talk. That's type of learning. When you go to schools and university and college, they just teach you the foundation. But once you graduate from there, you got to start picking up things on how to maybe become a tester, how to learn automation. They don't teach you that in school, but you actually pick up in work life. So same thing, if you want to progress more, you just got to keep learning and learning and learning. So yeah, with that being said, I think I have to wrap up my session. That's all. Thank you.